My internet friends, the Chinese ambassador found dead in his home. What does it all mean? Let's find out. I'll get straight to the point. War, war, war. Don't ever mess with the United States, ever, militarily. Anyone who tells you China can take on America with its amazing hypersonic penis, it's a joke. Nothing comes close to the United States, and I don't know who the hell gave China the idea that it could take on the United States. Who the hell told them this? I thought it might be theatre, but no, they're going to war. The ambassador is just the beginning. Watch the lead up to war. This is the lead up to war. In June 11 to 14 is a very important point. I just got off the phone to the magical unicorn and we had a discussion about what is going to happen. We're at a critical time. As he says, and I agree, we don't have a problem right now. We have a dilemma and it's not easily solved. My suggestion is, before we discuss the Chinese ambassador found dead in Israel, Herzliya, Israel, just down the road from the Mossad compound in Herzliya, Israel, we need to discuss a few broad issues. War is on the way. Around June 11 to 14 is a very important financial time. There's going to be some very interesting things happen all the way towards November, December. By then, you'll probably have settling, massive changes. There will have been trade dislocation, shortages, and hyperinflation. As long as there was plenty of factory production, it was okay, but it's not anymore. China's going down. The disruption to trade is going to be huge, huge. It's already huge. It's going to be even bigger. You're going to see massive hyperinflation. To solve all this, to give you a good slapping, it's going to wake up a lot of people. There'll be a good side to this, but you will have the Fed crypto. The COVID app is going to go. I do not believe for a second they can possibly forcibly vaccinate the United States. It's impossible to do, even with the military. The military will not do it. Donald Trump, remember, in this script, and I suggest you go to my videos and watch this video, which is number 11. Alex Jones admits Trump a product of US Army intelligence. I highly admit that you go, or suggest, sorry, and watch this video. This is a script. It is a script. Doesn't mean that bad things are not happening, but it's a script. Donald Trump is the hero. All right? He's the hero. He's going to save America, or a form of America. Okay? You're not going to be forcibly vaccinated. No. No. You're going to get the Fed crypto app in November, December. You'll be shopping by Christmas. It's not going to be the same, but you will be shopping by Christmas. You'll be using the Fed crypto app. With the food shortages, there'll be centralized control of food production and food distribution. It's all sewn up. It's all ready to go. The trucking companies, the rail, everything is ready to go. You really should watch the movie Atlas Shrugged, based on the book by Ayn Rand, the Russian Jewess who brought in libertarian selfishness as the way of the future. A very fond movie and book, Atlas Shrugged, of the Koch brothers and everyone else who doesn't want to pay any tax. And there are some good things to do with libertarian thought, but if you try to apply that to everything, you just become like the Koch brothers. I don't want to pay no tax and everyone else can die. But watch Atlas Shrugged. Maybe you'll find a link somewhere to the full movie. I don't know where you'll find that link. But watch that movie. It's like, you know what, that movie Atlas Shrugged, all right, the link, just email me for the link and I'll send you a link to the full movie, because that's what's unfolding as we speak. It really is. Atlas Shrugged, Ayn Rand. That's Rand Paul, okay? Libertarian movement, all that stuff. Once those things like food, I hope you got your bone broth and your 2-minute noodles saved, and your gold and your silver and whatnot, but it ain't going to save you, I'm sorry. What's going to happen is the Fed crypto app will come in. It will do the same thing as the COVID tracking app. Have you not noticed, and we will get onto the ambassador shortly, but do you not notice how easy it was to totally debunk the COVID stuff? I mean, it was a joke. I mean, Fauci was the worst actor I've ever seen. Bill Gates was laughing because he knew it was all a joke, and it's not going to happen. All right, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be mass vaccinated, but you will get the Fed crypto app. If you're new to this, and I urge you why you should listen to me. I'll go into that in a minute, but I had a political asylum in Iran. I was working with government analysts at the Persian Gulf Study Center. And we're going to go into in depth what happened and my UN refugee application. But what I want to do, if you're new to this, is go to this video. Go to number 5, Trump versus Corona 2020 and the forced economic collapse of the United States. It's 90 minutes that goes into intimate detail about what's going on. It's a re-upload. It had 20,000 views. It got 14,000 views in 4 days. And then good old YouTube put the mockers on it and just stopped it dead. And then they deleted my channel a month later, 2 months later. It goes into it in detail. It's going to talk about the electronic sovereign drawing rights, distributed ledger technology. Who told you about that? I got most of that information off the Magical Unicorn. Who told you about the Bank of International Settlements? Not like I'm the first or the only, but putting it in that package. I expected that would explode everywhere, even into people with 100,000 and 500,000 subscribers talking similar issues. They don't say a damned word. Okay? But you're getting the Fed crypto app by November. And you will be shopping by December, maybe. But austerity is here. It's never going away in the short term. Austerity is here as they transition all the manufacturing out of China, putting it back into the United States, Canada, and Mexico, also Central and South America. They're going to build up Central and South America. That's Trump's job. This may well just be Rothschild breaking up his company. Israel, Russia, and China handle Eurasia with a new Chinese Communist Party, less thugs, more cooperation. And they have a Cold War standoff, which I talk about in this video, number 5. It's a good video. It should have 1 million views. It doesn't, and it never will. Go and watch that video. It lays out exactly what's happening. It went up on January the 5th, and what you're seeing unfolding right now. So the Chinese ambassador getting the chop. Chinese ambassador to Israel is found dead in his home, foreign ministry says. China's ambassador to Israel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, no signs of violence. He's been knocked off. It's not impossible that he just spontaneously died of a heart attack. It happens, like my sister spontaneously dying of a massive stroke after I was warned, after the Israeli ambassador and foreign minister came out, I was warned that my family would be killed with heart attack or stroke, and my sister died of a massive stroke at the age of 42. There's a whole story to that. So I'm sure it's possible he just fell down the stairs. But that's a warning from the United States. This is war in June. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Forget about Corona. It's a cover for now. It's Fabian socialism, scare you to death. And then you'll just, okay, Trump has saved us. Trump will say, I'm not doing this forced vaccinations. I don't care what Bill Gates says. Maybe they arrest Bill Gates, put him in a Swiss outhouse with some small boys, whatever he's into. And maybe they'll do some arrests. I'd like to see some arrests just for fun even. Henry Kissinger to start with. That'll be the start. There could possibly be a clean out. Who knows? Trust the plan. 666 DHS. You never know. But this is what's going on. It's up for war. So Trump won't do the forced vaccinations, but what they will do is definitely you're going to get the Fed crypto app. No ifs, no buts. No ifs, no buts. If you have Bitcoin on a server, on a wallet online somewhere, you could potentially kiss it goodbye because Israel's going to snaffle it all up and their friends. Remember, Bitcoin was really reserved for the managerial class to hide their wealth in, and they don't like you having it, but Bitcoin will probably go through the roof, maybe Bitcash as well. A lot of theories about that. I suggest you put it on an encrypted USB and get it the hell off one of the the servers. So they've got to keep the managerial class at least partly happy. They still need them till the robots come. There are many, many scenarios that could happen. The magical unicorn is the worst case. I'm the optimistic best case. We meet somewhere in the middle. Let me tell you what we just discussed. He's adamant that the war's coming, obviously. We agree on that. The United States will win. The Chinese Communist Party as it stands is gone. I suggest a few wild cards that Taiwan Semiconductor is going to get a few stray cruise missiles hit them. I don't think they'll be destroyed completely, but Intel's going to get some breathing space. Okay, because Intel is a national security issue. They can't have that blue chip company. If you would like to know more about that, I keep forgetting there are new people coming onto the channel. Some of my videos had 250,000 views in previous incarnations. Well, look, here's me being arrested talking about variant. This is 2009, November 2009. Watch this.
This is about SAS Campbell Barracks, Leon Wind, variant. Timothy, you told me that variant does your local and national, your local police intercepts. An Israeli intelligence front.
I'm pop you in the car.
Yeah, I know you are, Tim. Fuck you, Tim.
What? I'm talking about variant, Leon Wen, the Collins class sub. Have I got your interest? Or what about when I'm arrested here on December 23rd, 2014?
I wasn't made it for a while yet.
Yeah, I remember a mate said you went in his house says, we don't need a warrant.
I don't know which mate you're referring to. Obviously, we've got a process that we've got to go through. Okay?
What? Jet Propulsion Laboratory?
Brendan, we've got a process that we need to do. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to invite the other officers in, and then we're going to start the camera. Okay?
Wait a minute, before you go, what the hell?
It may be used in evidence. Do you understand that, Brendan?
Sorry, what was that?
The caution. Okay, this is a Commonwealth
Liz.
caution. It's different to state. I just want to make sure that you
So
understand.
who's running this whole ridiculous show? Who's running it?
You do not have to say
Liz,
anything.
do you realise what you're doing?
Anything you do say or do.
Do you
may be
realise
used
what
in-
you're doing?
Brendan, please listen
Do
to
you
the
realise
caution.
what you're doing?
You need to listen to this caution.
When they asked you to do
You
this
do not
job,
have
did you
to
go,
say
please
or do
no?
anything, but
Please
anything
no.
you do say or do may be used in
Okay.
evidence. Do you understand the caution?
No, I don't understand. Why are you here? I don't even know what's going on.
Okay, let's concentrate on doing one thing at a time. So let's put that aside,
Really?
look at me and listen to what I'm saying.
No, just let's go to jail. I'll start the
You do
hunger
not have
strike.
to say
I'll
or do
start the
anything,
shit
but
fire.
anything you do say or do may be used
There you go. Put the cuffs on, Liz. There you go. Put the cuffs on. There you go. Put the cuffs on. War it starts. There you go.
We're
There
going
you
to
go,
do the
Liz.
easy way, or
No, we're going to do the hard way the whole way through. The whole way through. No, that's your choice, Liz. You came on a warrantless search, harassed me, took my materials on a joke, on an absolute joke. I've now read part of your crap. Your crap. Commonwealth legislation. Commonwealth legislation.
Jet Propulsion Laboratories? What's that about? Because I offended Jewish community leader Steve Lieblich by calling him a Katzer, a case officer? Look at that. In the history of the world, have you ever heard of a dissident calling a Jewish community leader a Katzer or case officer for Israeli intelligence?
A Perth man who posted an anti-Jewish video on the internet has been jailed for 3 years. The victim of the racist rant says the sentence isn't long enough.
This is the racist video that shocked Perth's Jewish community.
Your days are numbered, and we're going to rescue as many of your victim cult members as we can.
Two young Jewish men bullied relentlessly the 15-minute rant posted on YouTube.
You are racist, homicidal maniacs.
Today, the man responsible, Brendan O'Connell, was jailed for 3 years after being convicted of race hate crimes. It's believed he's the first person in the state to be found guilty under new racial vilification laws. The judge described him as a bully who has an irrational hatred of Jews. One of the men victimised in the video says O'Connell has made his life hell and that the sentence is inadequate.
Wish he was going for longer. I've been harassed continuously for the last 18 months.
But the jail term's been welcomed by the Jewish community.
I think it was a victory for decency and against bigotry and prejudice. On future occasions, it could be Muslims or Asians or any group, and so we should all be happy about this result.
There was extra security in the courtroom for the sentencing. After being told he would serve 3 years in jail, O'Connell yelled out, "That's a holiday camp compared to Gaza." O'Connell will spend at least 18 months behind bars before he's eligible for parole. Tegan Sapwell at 10 News.
And I'm raided by the damn police? Has that got anybody's freaking interest? Read the UN document below. It'll blow your mind. It's not just about me. The whole issue is contained. I am the only person in the history of the planet to have the Israeli state coming out against them personally. The Israeli ambassador, Yuval Rodom, and the Israeli Deputy Foreign Minister, Danny Ayalon, the Australian Foreign Minister, Stephen Smith, and the entire political class of Australia. It's incredible. And if you want to know more and understand the issue, go and watch this video. COVID kill switch. Israel's secret weapon, the Talpiot program remastered. Really got to fix the sound, but anyway. Talpiot, Israel's secret weapon, the telport. Watch it. It got 250,000 views. Watch that video. I hope I got your attention. War in the South China Sea, massive shortages, hyperinflation, and you're going to see the transition into the Federal Reserve crypto. It's also on, of course, video 5. You must watch video 5. Trump versus Corona, the forced economic collapse of America. It goes into the electronic sovereign drawing rights distributed ledger technology. They're going to bring the US dollar down onto parity with all other currencies. Once that's done, you're going to see manufacturing take off quite a bit in the US because the Chinese yuan and the US dollar are going to be equal. That's why. You're going to see the end, potentially, of US petrodollar hegemony. They're already moving away from oil and petroleum. They're already doing it. You're going to see quite possibly. Do you remember Alex Jones talking about, see, I always watch, you've got to watch Alex Jones. I know it's hard. You pick up so many tidbits, especially from Dr. Steve Pieczenik as well. Do you remember this from Alex Jones, that how Donald Trump was going to release all the technology? This was before he won the election, in the lead up.
The biggest secret of Trump is that he intends to turn loose all these disruptive technologies and to actually let partners have them and to work with Russia and others that also have advanced technologies, because he knows a deal was made to let China take over with economic warfare and let them control the system because they'd proven themselves evil, killing over 100 million of their own people. So our elite went to work with China, just like they admit in the last month. I told you months ago, they'll plan on China propping up world government, China to save this collapsing system. And then they come out in the news in hundreds of publications, communist China to save the New World Order and to defeat Trump. See, our own media siding with people that oppress their own population.
Well, this is quite correct. So there's going to have to be goodies after this initial period. And I can't tell you entirely that it's all evil. I refuse to believe the Pentagon and the middle managers with wives and children and mortgages and a love for their country, for as imperfect as the United States and the United States Constitution is. I refuse to believe that they have every single person, every general, certainly not all the colonels, the bright young colonels in the Pentagon leaning against, trying to screw the secretary, leaning against the water cooler going, I ain't happy about Israel. And Larry Wilkinson, do you remember Larry Wilkinson, the 2IC of Colin Powell? Hanging out with the editors of Haaretz in 2016. There's a massive movement. It's not just you and me with our obscure websites and our obscure YouTube channels. These higher level people are on our side. The question is, will they pull off some catastrophic event? War is bad enough. That's going to create a lot of trouble. But are they going to do something worse in August? Around August, a massive environmental catastrophe of some kind. Remember her?
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying.
Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
Well, that is on the cards. What? I don't know, but remember this video? Number 7, COVID kill switch. Israel and Unit 8200 take over New York and Pentagon. Watch that video. Now that's from an Haaretz article, and they talk about the fact all of these Unit 8200 graduates are all over New York, and they're building up the East Coast in New York as a major app development and other high technology center. That's interesting. What if they attack Seattle, take out Microsoft, Amazon, all the big companies based there and in California, Stanford, Sao Paulo, all of these places? They've already moved Microsoft, Amazon, major research and development. I mean, the entire Windows architecture, core kernel, Windows Security and Update Center is handled by Microsoft Israel. They're doing the Pentagon Cloud, the Azure Cloud for all Microsoft Office materials, Microsoft Word. Do you understand the power? They've shifted it to Israel. Are they going to do something to California? and then prioritise the East Coast. Turner Diaries, remember the Turner Diaries? Civil War in the United States. It's all possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's possible. I would tell you that the worst case scenario would happen, but you've got to believe that everyone's just sitting passively. Just because you're not seeing it, the managerial class handle things quietly. I'm not telling you to trust the plan. I'm telling you to keep the hot irons on the orange monkey and make sure he does his job. Just do the best you can. Anyway, it's an interesting time, isn't it? I'm going to put up some interesting stuff in the coming days. I want to put my own stuff out there. It's of interest to you, and you're going to be amazed, particularly my UNHCR application. It's brilliant, really. I knew they weren't going to do anything for me, but I knew that it was good to have I needed a diary record. Now, it's heavily indexed, easy to find your way around. It's 100 megabytes. It's an excellent article. There's so much stuff in here. It's got a main document index and sub-indexes. It's a fantastic document. The introduction alone I'm going to read from, and you're going to be really amazed about what's gone on and how big this case. This is, and I say this with all humbleness and sincerity, this is the biggest espionage case in history. And you're going to wonder how the hell you haven't heard about it. I had the biggest hate speech trial in history. I had Rabbi Ovadia Yosef live from Jerusalem in the Israeli Supreme Court building with the pyramid on the top. And what did we have at the front of the Perth District Court where I was? A pyramid on the front. Wow, how interesting. We had Professor of Jewish Civilization Studies, Professor Andrew Marcus on the stand. It's the biggest hate speech trial in history. Orthodox rabbi on the stand, never happened before, under oath, in history. I cross-examined an Orthodox rabbi on the stand. Have you heard about it? You've not heard a thing. So I'm getting angry. My whole head is on fire because I'm absolutely fuming. Ask the revisionist movement. Ask Michael Hoffman. Hey, Michael Hoffman, why no analysis on the biggest hate speech trial in history? You know they knocked off Ernst Zundel. Ernst Zundel sent me $23,000 in Bitcoin for the High Court case. They knocked him off. A week later, he was dead. 2 months later, his wife was dead. And Germa Rudolph said, please don't contact me anymore. This is how big this is. It's how big this case is. Let me now read from you from the prophecy of the report from Iron Mountain. If you don't know the history of the report from Iron Mountain, it was released, I'm just going off memory, I think it was 1963 it was begun, and then in 1967 it was released, and it was said to be a report by a group of elite people about the need for war and what we're seeing unfolding right now. It lays it out. I'm going to read a little bit from the Wikipedia. The Wikipedia is fine. Just read from that. It'll give you a summary. A lot of people haven't heard of the report from Iron Mountain. Released in 1967, if you remember Colonel Fletcher Prouty, amazing guy. He was the liaison between the US Air Force and the CIA. He's played by Donald Sutherland, X, in the JFK movie, which ironically was Arnold Milchan, was the producer. Incredible. Anyway, Fletcher Prouty said, they kept saying it was a parody document. However, he said the Pentagon ordered 5,000 copies. People said this is real because they knew the style of reports. They weren't new to this information. You, of course, remember Major Jordan's diaries and the transfer, all this technology transfer to the Soviet Union. Again, it's in my video 5. Please watch it. But let's read this little bit. I'll put this at the end of the introduction to my UN refugee application. The report from Iron Mountain, 1967. The heavily footnoted report concluded that peace was not in the interest of a stable society. That even if lasting peace, quote, could be achieved, it would almost certainly not be in the best interest of society to achieve it. War was a part of the economy. Therefore, it was necessary to conceive a state of war for a stable economy. The government, the group theorised, would not exist without war, and nation-states existed in order to wage war. War served the vital function of diverting collective aggression. They recommended credible substitutes and paying a, quote, blood price to emulate the economic functions of war. Prospective government devised alternatives to war included, I love this, reports of alien life forms. And the alien invasion won't be too far off. Again, look in my January the 5th video number 5. The reintroduction of a euphemized form of slavery, quote, consistent with modern technology and political processes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 1967, begun in 1963 with the death of JFK. And one deemed particularly promising in gaining the attention of the malleable masses, the threat of, quote, gross pollution of the environment.
How dare you!
Wow. The report from Iron Mountain just landed out in 1967. And there you go. That was the end of my introduction to my UN refugee claim. I'm not into Western morality. Wage war the Jewish way. Kill men, women, and children. Destroy their holy sites. Rabbi Friedman of Chabad, Lubavitch, New York, 2009, during Operation Cast Lead in Gaza. Close associate of Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and Vladimir Putin. Okay, let's wrap it up. War, June, maybe 11 to 14. There's some very special economic times then. And then a major catastrophic event in August. Whatever the degree of dislocation, hyperinflation and trouble, you will have the Fed crypto app by the end of the year. You probably will be shopping for Christmas. There will be austerity and shortages, and centralized, the Patriot Act will kick into view. Also, as Diane, the cat diva from Tennessee, showed me this link. This was originally by the Obama administration, Executive Order, National Defense Resources Preparedness, March 16, 2012. By authority invested in me as a president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including the Defense Production Act of 1950, blah, 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 blah. Delegates authorities and addresses national defense research policies and programs under the Defense Production Act of 1950. The United States must have an industrial and technological base capable of meeting national defense requirements and capable of contributing to the technological superiority of its national defense equipment in peacetime and in times of national emergency. The domestic industrial and technological base is the foundation for national defense preparedness. The authorities provided in the Act shall be used to strengthen this base and to ensure it is capable of responding to the national defense needs of the United States. C. Be prepared in the event of a potential threat to the security of the United States to take actions necessary to ensure the availability of adequate resources and production capability, including services and critical technology for national defense requirements. We'll stop handing it all to Israel. That would help. Improve the efficiency and responsiveness of the domestic industrial base to support national defense requirements, and foster cooperation between the defense and commercial sectors for research and development and for acquisition of materials, services, components, and equipment to enhance industrial base efficiency and responsiveness. It goes on, but it gets down to some interesting things. The food is critical. Food production and distribution. That's why Stalin went after the food production. It's very important. The Secretary of Agriculture with respect to food resources, food resource facilities, livestock resources. Remember all the trouble we're having right now with the corona stuff, massive abattoirs, the rotting meats, all the milks being tossed. Livestock resources, veterinary resources, plant health resources, and the domestic distribution of farm equipment and commercial fertilizer. The Secretary of Energy with respect to all forms of energy. The Secretary of Health and Human Services with respect to health resources. The Secretary of Transportation with respect to all forms of civil transportation. The Secretary of Defense with respect to water resources. That's a big one, water resources. And the Secretary of Commerce with respect to all other materials, services, and facilities, including construction materials. They don't need COVID-19 for this. But that could be the sphere. And they'll slip you with the left hand. And here we have part 3, expansion of productive capacity and supply. This is directly linked to Trump's addition. Loan guarantees to reduce current or projected shortfalls of resources, critical technology items, or materials essential for the national defense. The head of each agency engaged in procurement for the national defense, as defined in Section 801H of this order, is authorised pursuant to Section 301 of the Act to guarantee loans by private institutions. And on it goes, and I urge you to read the full thing. It's interesting. Then we go on to what was recently done by the Trump administration on May the 14th, 2020. The executive order on... So this business that Trump's trapped in the White House and Nancy Pelosi's coming for him and AOC's dancing over to the White House is... it's embarrassing that they even put this script bullshit forward. But remember, they got Robert Mercer and the old Cambridge Analytica and Aggregate IQ, these data analytic companies. They're private. This isn't DARPA. This isn't Google. This isn't even, this is Rothschild's private intelligence network doing the data analytics and the talking points. Right? It's garbage. He's got executive dictatorial powers and the executive unitary executive theory, which was put out. I remember first hearing about it on good old, what's his name? James Angleton, the former CIA counterintelligence, 1974. Here.
In the end, he believes, it was the breaking of President Nixon that did most damage to the CIA. For Nixon failed to win the crucial battle, that national security is above the law.
No one prior to December 1974 would have ever conceived the debacle that occurred in the United States by what I would term an inept intelligence leadership and a very irresponsible approach by the administration. And I would suggest that this was an issue that should have been taken to the Supreme Court by the executive as a matter of being determined on constitutional basis. I believe there are inherent rights in the President of the United States to advance national security. It's inherent in his election.
Then they had that bit in the movie Vice, which I enjoyed a lot. And you seriously think Trump's sitting there fighting the deep state? They're fighting. They ain't fighting. They're all cooperating, guaranteed. Executive order on delegating authority under the DPA to the CEO of the US, International Development Finance Corporation. Now, as Diane says, the International Development Finance Corporation is a private, like the Federal Reserve. This is interesting. It needs more research. Diane's doing some stuff now. The Cat Diva from Tennessee. I assure you none of your 500,000 subscriber base are even going to touch this stuff. Finance Corporation to respond to the COVID-19 outbreak. This was May 14th, 2020. We're going to wind this up in a second. He goes into, of course, the pandemic. Bullshit. To ensure that our country has the capacity, capability, and strong, resilient domestic industrial base necessary to respond to the COVID-19 outbreak, it is the policy of the United States to further expand domestic production of strategic resources needed to respond to the COVID-19 outbreak, including strengthening relevant supply chains within the United States and its territories. It is important to use all resources available to the United States, including executive departments and agencies with expertise in loan support for private institutions. Accordingly, I am delegating authority under Title III of the Act to make loans, make provisions for purchases and commitments to purchase, and take additional actions to create, maintain, protect, expand, and restore the domestic industrial-based capabilities, including supply chains within the United States and its territories, needed to respond to the COVID-19, sorry. Needed to respond to the COVID-19 outbreak. Now, there are many game throughs. We want to end it there. Read this stuff. The links are below. Read my UN refugee claim. You'll see how I touched on Israeli high technology and they went crazy. You'll see on January the 5th, video number 5. Video number 5. 5, Trump and Corona 2020 and the forced economic collapse of the United States. It lays it out. Bank of International Settlements, bringing the petrodollar level with the one. Are they going to be able to pull off all this stuff? Watch that video. The world is a business, Mr. Beale. The world is a business. There are many theories about what's going to happen. I told you, my head tells me freaking catastrophe. All right? My heart is telling me it's not going to be quite as bad as that. We may find that this whole pandemic bullshit was to just prepare, in particular, economies around the world, but the US economy, prepare the US people for the coming war and the trade dislocation and the adjustment as they completely dislocate from China. And bring the manufacturing base back to the United States. I'm all for it. It's a great idea. However, what are they going to do with Eurasia? That's the next thing. Will they be leaving it with Israel, Russia, and a new Chinese Communist Party clique, slightly less thuggish than the last? Will they be leaving it to them? See, this is the Makinda World Island. This is geostrategy. This is the grand chessboard, man. And I don't know. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I just know this. The United States should invade and occupy occupied Palestine, or Israel as it's called. Boot all the Russian settler, crazy extremist nutcase Chabad people. Get rid of Chabad completely out of the White House. They need to be locked up in FEMA camps. They're raving homicidal lunatics, as are most of the, if not all the Hasidim. They need to be removed from politics completely. The Israel cannot be a Jewish state. Iran cannot be an Islamic state. You must have secular states with people having the freedom to choose the religion of their choice without coercion. Anywhere where you have to coerce someone to stay within a religion is not a religion. That's a political control mechanism. That's thuggery and power. All right, that's maintaining a gang. That's nothing to do with religion or spirituality in any form whatsoever. Okay, good luck, everyone. Look, stay frosty, stay calm. Just maintain the narrative. There's what you can do. You can maintain the narrative, or possible many narratives. I remain slightly optimistic, only out of intuition. My logic says it's going to be a bit hellish, but I think you're going to see a new world come out of this. God willing, with the United States maintaining its primacy, its geostrategic primacy, its military, industrial, technological capacity, and complete dominance over the planet. All right? Because you Americans must partake in the political process. You must put your energies and your time into the US Constitution, and maybe during this incredibly tough and demanding and stressful transition period, maybe you will learn for the first time that freedom isn't fucking free. Good luck.